You're live, Matt.
All right, we're live. Oh, right on time, 7 o'clock, just a hair bit before 7:01. Good job, Zach. It's Good Friday. Hope everyone's having a fantastic time.
I'm going to have to pull this out for a second to get us going.
Uh-oh.
It's okay. I did see the Undertaker has joined.
He has? Uh-oh. I'm going to try to pull it up right here. We have a fancy monitor in here now so we can actually see people. Kind of crazy. There we go.
There you go.
There he is.
You got him now.
Mark Calloway.
What's up?
How are you doing, buddy?
Man, I'm just living the dream, you know.
What do you have in your background?
Oh. You got it?
Can you hear us?
Yeah. You hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. So what gun you got in the background there?
So I got my F&N 338 and I got a SIG 308 right there. Because, you know, you got to protect your vital assets.
Well, I see you got a stack of toilet paper being protected. That's good.
Go.
And you got your toilet paper shirt. There you go.
Yeah, man. That's
Well,
for
we
real.
got FN Lapua back here as well. So
And we didn't even call and talk to each other.
I know this was just a coincidence. We both wanted to make sure that we had our guns, and during these times, I think you need them more than anything.
I think y'all planned this.
Nope,
Nope.
we're not playing this.
You planned this.
Didn't do it.
Laid in bed at night texting each other.
We've done that before, yeah. But I think we both we just want free guns, and we want FN to give us free guns.
That would be nice. That one was not free.
No, well, I can't say the same about ours. Ours was definitely free.
And actually, I just bought a FN 5.7 pistol.
Nice.
Did you shoot that one with us out in Texas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
That's,
actually, I shot it at y'all's event in Savannah. I think I shot. No, I shot it. Oh, I did. I shoot it at the event in Texas too with Oz and Eddie. Yeah, I did.
Yeah. God, it was cold that day.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
That's the way it is here in Texas. It can be 80 one day, and then it can be 48 the next. And so.
You definitely came the wrong day. Dustin came out the day after you did. And it was probably a perfect day.
Oh, yeah, beautiful.
It was absolutely gorgeous.
That's the story of my life.
That was one of the coldest. It was freezing cold out there.
It was miserable.
Yeah.
Absolutely miserable.
And every time you've come to shoot with us, here in Savannah, it was like 1,000,000 degrees. When we were in Vegas, it snowed while we were trying to shoot.
Ice.
Texas,
Yeah.
it was freezing cold.
Yeah, we were getting pelted with sleet and ice and rain and wind. I'd never seen the what is it, the comfort station there.
Yeah.
It ended up nobody was on the range. Everybody was in there huddled up next to the furnaces trying to get warm.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we had to sit there with Chad Prather and have to deal with him, but
Did that fool shave his head?
he did.
He shaved his head?
He shaved his head.
Wow.
I don't know.
He must have lost a bet, right?
I don't know. With Chad, you know, Mark, it's you don't know what you're gonna get with him from day to day.
Tiger King may have asked him to be his next husband. I don't know.
You may be, Zach. You may be onto something, buddy.
He's been reaching out to him in prison. He's trying to get in there to see him.
Oh, I know. It's an odd. Chad's an odd. Chad was the first one that we did this with last week, and we caught him in a good sober moment. So it was good. It was good. It was only 30 minutes, and it was good. So
A sober moment.
yeah, there's a rare.
It was on the cusp.
It was on the cusp. Mark, we're going to ask a favor. We put everybody on the spot when we've done this. This is you are guest number 4. Guest number 4.
I'm moving up, huh?
But number 1 in our hearts.
Number 1 in our hearts.
I know better, but go ahead.
Every guest we've done this with. So for everybody watching, be sure to follow Undertaker, Nine Line Apparel, Zach Scalf, and Matthew Lyda. And Mark, what we like to do is pull one person out of here to win something. Do you think if we send you this hat, you could autograph it and we can send it to the winner?
Oh, man, I'm busy these days, man. I got a lot of homeschooling that I'm watching Michelle do, and yeah, I can fit it in the schedule. I got it, man. Go ahead,
All right,
send
that
that
sounds
thing.
good. That's perfect. Tell your wife to quit texting me. She just texted me.
I'm waiting for her. I'm waiting for them to start sending messages on here heckling me. It's only a matter of time.
Well, we don't have a moderator tonight to look at the messages, so it's going to be maybe an after the fact thing. But we did have a lot of people reach out asking questions that we're going to ask you later on, and
Okay.
So it should be fun to hear from some of the fans that typically wouldn't get to talk to you, and that's why we wanted to do this. We want to do this with all the folks that we work with, folks that people they admire, they see on TV that otherwise would never have an opportunity to kind of hear from. And you're definitely one of those people. Have you ever done an Instagram Live, Mark?
Nope.
First one. All right.
Yep. First one, man.
And have you done an interview since WrestleMania 36?
I have not.
Gosh.
Man, you
This is
guys are
like-
getting all the exclusives, man.
This is
That
like
right
prom
there.
night. This is prom night, man. This
Hey,
is first
I'm
for
just
everything.
saying. I'm fourth. I'm fourth on y'all's list, but hey, y'all are number one in mine. So
Well,
If
you
you
were
were better availability, you weren't busy.
Yeah, if you were so busy with WrestleMania. So since we brought it up, let's dive into WrestleMania 36. Zach watched it over the weekend. I didn't get to watch. I watched it Monday, I think, is when I watched it. Zach, what was your feelings on WrestleMania 36 to start with before we dive into Mark here?
It was weird. It was just different being the empty, like it was the performance center, like no crowd or anything. And I still haven't gotten used to it because you don't have the crowd and you don't get the pop. So I can only imagine that it's even harder for the wrestlers and stuff that are performing in the middle of the matches and stuff. You're not getting the crowd to react off of at the same time.
Yeah.
So it was just different.
Yeah, and I know your match was a little bit different. We'll dive into that, but did you hear from any of the other folks what it was like for them to have to perform pretty much in an empty arena?
well, it's just I mean, everybody's sentiment was pretty much the same, and it was just really bizarre because we feed so much off of of our fans' energy. I didn't have to work a match, but even I did I did a segment on the show in the empty arena, and it's just really, really bizarre because, like I said, you're looking for that energy to feed off of, and it is just not there. You have to create it in your head, and you have to, you almost have to, pipe in the fan noise in your head and create that atmosphere and like draw on your memories and draw on all these other experiences. I've actually, unfortunately, I've had the exact same noise level with a completely full arena. So that was a joke.
Well, we
Pretty good.
we didn't want to say anything there, but
Yeah, that whole shtick with the cult leader thing really kind of fell flat. It's whatever.
yeah, it is what happened. We won't go into those days.
This is a tough crowd, man.
So
Everybody's brave across the country.
Your program with AJ Styles, definitely not what you guys probably wrote out, from the very beginning, but it changed into what it did. And I told you, I said, Amy and I were watching it Sunday. I think Sunday night we watched just your match, and then Monday I went back and watched some of the other matches. But I watched your match, and at the end of it, Amy said, "I loved that. I thought that was awesome." And outside of, and unfortunately this year, I get an opportunity to potentially go to WrestleMania, and COVID-19 happens. Thank you, Mr.
You're the kiss of
Ryder.
death, man.
But Amy said, she goes, outside of having an opportunity to be there to see you live perform, she goes, I think that was amazing. She goes, I really enjoyed it. I was into it. She goes, I was waiting for the next scene to happen. She goes, I really liked it. How did you feel about what you and AJ ended up doing?
So obviously, you always envision this match happening in a live arena. And then somewhere there in the last few weeks or last couple of weeks, when we didn't even know what was going to happen the next day, the idea was thrown at me about, doing something off site. And I was like, yeah, that's a much better, that's a much better option than trying to have the match that AJ and the Undertaker would have inside an empty arena. So I guess in our case, we were very fortunate to be able to go off site and do what we did. And the final product, like I said, I couldn't be more proud of it. Under the circumstances, all the different things going on, everybody to pull together and put something like that out there that was different and was intriguing. It was I can't speak for AJ, but I'm very proud of what we did.
Yeah, I thought it was a unique take on what you guys were doing, and I think it was named incorrectly. I think it should have been a Buried Alive match.
That part was confusing.
Yeah.
Well, if it would have been me, if I would have made the match, I would have said, okay, this is a Buried Alive match. AJ Styles doesn't know anything about Buried Alive matches. He called it a Boneyard match. So he's the one that made the match. So, now it's a Boneyard match. So, but even Buried Alive matches generally happened in the arena.
Yeah.
So I think we're just trying to give our audience something like, well, what is that? What's that going to be? What's the, we try to, add a little bit of intrigue and get people get people talking, like, oh, okay, yeah. What are they going to do? Is it going to be, is it going to be in an empty arena? Is it going to be this? Is it going to be that? So we're trying to generate, interest in what we were going to do.
Do you think that y'all's match opens the doors for more matches similar to that for pay-per-views that Vince might kind of go down that road of more of a cinematic feel to maybe one match every year or something like that in a WrestleMania?
I think because that one was so successful, I think it lends to that. But it happens, you just got to have the right, and this is not a pat on the back, but you got to have the right players to do that. Guys that really understand their characters and they really still rely on that part of the business, not just the athletic side of the business, which is, I think more guys kind of lean that way now. Where, for me, that put me right back in my wheelhouse. And AJ could work with a broom handle and put a 4-star match on.
Yeah. It was unique. I mean, for him to come in the hearse and you come back, I mean, was it your idea to bring back almost that the American Badass gimmick again? I mean, was that something that was kind of, when this all transpired, was that something that you wanted to do?
Yeah, I kind of been feeling it for a while, but also, I know I don't have a lot of matches left, so you always run the risk. Well, what do you do this big change again, and then you're not really out there. When AJ threw that first stone and made this personal, then it made it a no-brainer. Like I couldn't stay that mainstream Undertaker and be able to respond and deal with the things that he was saying in that character. So a lot of people have been curious, like, what is the unholy trinity? Well, the unholy trinity that I referenced was the dead man, the badass, and then the man himself, which obviously Mark Calloway, and I put them all together, and that was kind of my brain was working that way. It was like it was the unification of all these three entities into one person. So that was that's where that came from.
Now for the rest of the night, for WrestleMania, Zach came to work on Monday and was talking about all these different matches, and I think Edge and Randy Orton, they're still wrestling.
That match may still be going on.
Yeah, it was so long.
I tell you what, hey, but it was a long match, but I thought it was really good, especially.
It was really good, and it was.
You said it was the match.
It was never slow. Like, it was excellent. Yeah. It was just so long. I went and made some waffles. I came back.
Yeah, but see, that's where
trailer. It was crazy.
See, and that's where your audience helps you, though. Like, that match was really good. Now you put people out there and get their reactions, and that match seems 15 minutes shorter because they are just all they're working off of is
the
just
energy of the building,
pure physicality of what had been done in their issue. What helped us and what my mindset doing ours was like, this is one of those rare opportunities that you get to hear someone talking serious smack. You usually don't get to hear that because your audience is, your audience is live, and some of the things that are said are some of them are pretty funny, some of them are pretty like, okay, all right, that shit's about to go hot, and but that was what I think was really helped us, was just the verbal communication between us. It was like, I don't know, it was just like being in a fight, and when you're up, you're talking mad smack, and you get to hear the grunt, and you get kicked in the ribs. You know what that feels like, and you know what it sounds like, and so But no, I thought they did a killer job with what they had to work with.
Now, the other day when I was talking to you, do you think that the women stole the night for WrestleMania? Because it seemed like their matches were really good during WrestleMania. I mean, what was your feeling about that?
Let's see. So I watched Charlotte. I watched her match, and I thought it was really, really, really good. Actually, come to think, I watched Becky too. I watched hers. I thought that, you know what? It's a different era now, and those girls they're working hard, man, and they've got to be considered. When you start talking, match of the night or who stole the show, you always got to consider the women. They bring it, man. They bring it because they know they have to bring it, right? Because they have all these eyes on them that are wanting them to fail, but expect, them to do so. And so I think they all have. I know the one here that I live with, she was always like that. Like, she always wanted to, bring everything she had because she knew, the curve was in they were graded on a steeper curve. And I think it's the same today.
How does it feel to be the second best wrestler in your house?
I've come to live with it. I've come to grips with it. It's not only the second best wrestler, it's the second best. Well, now with my daughter, I'm the third best athlete in the house. So, hey, my pride sits up here on one of these shelves back behind me. I'm used to it, man.
Well, let's move out of WrestleMania. Let's move into.
I got one more WrestleMania question. What is your opinion on the match that I'm still waiting to start and that would be the Firefly Funhouse match. I'm still not convinced that it started. What do you think about that?
I'll get back to you on that.
It was different. It was a different.
It was different, and it was entertaining. To me, it was entertaining, and it was entertaining. It made you think.
Yeah.
You know, and it was like, and it put you in that state, like, okay, where are they going? What are they going to do? Again, I think for the circumstances, I thought it worked. Can I give you all the nuances of it? No, because I wasn't there, and I don't, you know, I don't know what the you know, the whole psychology of it was, but for this WrestleMania and, you know, things that the parameters that we had on us, I thought it worked, and it was like you didn't take your eyes off of it because you were like, well, what the hell's coming next?
Yeah,
you know, so definitely not traditional. And probably, you know, I don't know if you'll ever see another one, or if you do, it would probably be different, but I don't know, man. You know, sometimes you got to make chicken salad out of chicken shit. And I think
I thought it was cool.
I did too. You know, I mean, like I said,
the whole time.
Yeah.
During it, like, I was trying to figure out what was going on, but we couldn't stop watching it.
Yeah.
Like, you wanted to see what was happening next.
It was definitely weird, but it was entertaining.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was very creative. So whoever put that together, kudos to them.
I thought it was more of like a really long extended promo, and not necessarily just like a match.
Yeah.
Right. That's how I was watching it, and it was entertaining. It was good.
Yeah. It definitely dug into some part of their brain, whoever wrote that,
Yeah.
and pulled something out that I could.
John Cena doesn't need to have hair though. That was the most unsettling part about the entire match. Is him having a full head of hair.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he's playing on different fields now. So
Yeah.
I think he's going to be all right.
Yeah.
I think Cena can pretty much do whatever he wants to do these days, and he's
Pretty much.
So we'll ask the first fan question. This comes from Tony Rodnicki. I know Tony.
Okay. Sure you do.
He runs here. Well, he's part of my running. You haven't talked about how good I look, Mark. Look at this.
I've been waiting, brother. It's like you've lost a whole human being.
I did. I lost. Look, what I lost is that game. Zach, show him how fat you are now.
That's harsh. That's harsh, man. That's harsh. But no, brother,
Hey, I can run faster than Zach, but Zach can still kill me. So
you're gonna get tired sometime.
Oh man. So
I know Miss Amy's happy you're not eating all that junk food anymore.
She is happy, and she's probably, if she's not sleeping right now, she is watching. So I would love to tell my wife how much I love her. She's a hero. She's a nurse, working every evening at the hospital. So
absolutely, man.
Yeah, very sweet.
Yes.
I would like to take this opportunity to tell all three of my ex-wives that I'm sorry.
Anyway, next topic.
All right. First fan question from Tony. What wrestler or match goes down as one of the most memorable or favorite in your career?
Wow. Man, I got a lot, but I tell you what, WrestleMania 25 with Shawn, man, that's just one of those matches that everything went the way it was supposed to go, for the most part. I mean, it would have been nice to do the dive and land on somebody, but other than that lawn dart over the top rope, man, that was really special. You know, he's I tell you, you know, there for a long time, and a lot of people know this, a lot of people don't. You know, early on in our careers, I didn't care much for Shawn personally. And then he turned his life around. He found Christ, and really, I consider him a very close friend. And there's probably no one that I'd rather be in the ring with than Shawn. I mean, there's there's a very short list, and Sean's right up there. He's just one of those guys that don't have bad matches, and he thinks outside of the box, and he's creative, and Sean was always ahead of his time as far as the things that he could do athletically, and but in my mind, in wrestling, it always boils down. Everybody does all their fancy stuff, but it always boils down to Dukes, And even, he'd go out there and with his pretty boy chaps on and he'd shake his butt and do all that. But when it came down to Dukes, you bought him, you believed in him. And, for me, he was always just a perfect opponent.
And if I'm not mistaken, you had to follow the next WrestleMania against Triple H.
So we did two. Sean and I did two back to back. So we did 25, then we came back in 26, streak versus career. So and then after that one, which was that was another match that, talking about a little bit of pressure, is trying to follow the 25 with 26 and then come out of those two. And then, it was kind of like a continuation. Then I did two matches in a row with Triple H, but the whole story kind of went through the whole 4 years. It was me and Sean, and then me and Sean for his career. Now his best buddy steps up. He wants to do it. Right. And so the first one with Triple H is I won, but I couldn't walk out. I couldn't leave the ring, right? So they had to bring the gator down, put me on the gator, and haul me out of the stadium. So we brought that one back, and we did that. We did it in a cell. We did it Hell in a Cell, which Triple H and I think between the two of us have 20 some odd Hell in a Cell matches. Sean was the special guest referee for that. So, I mean, those 4 years were probably the most special and probably some of my proudest work in the company. And I've had a lot of matches that are really good with a lot of good guys. But I mean, those 4 years were really special.
All right. Oh, I've got stuff here. Mankind, Hell in a Cell. The match lasted for like 10 minutes, and those 10 minutes were the craziest 10 minutes that's probably may have ever been in wrestling.
Yeah.
When you walked out of the curtain and you saw him standing on top of that cage, I know that if I'm not mistaken, you had a broken ankle, sprained ankle, something like that. What went through your mind when you walked out and you saw him standing up there?
I was like, look at that crazy son of a bitch. Man, the first thing you think of is like, because that's just chain link fence. And Sean and I was the first one. This was the second Hell in the Cell. And, always the first thing is like, man, I hope I can get up there. And two is I hope I don't fall off. And, but it was very, very surreal. And Mankind, Mick had a mindset that, people were going to remember that match. And yeah, they have, I tell you what, he's one tough son of a gun, man. I got to hand it to him.
When you threw him off the top of the cage and he lands, what goes through your mind at that point? Are you thinking he's really dead, or I've seriously injured this guy? And I know that, kind of one of the rules that y'all have is, you leave the ring the same way you enter. What went through your mind at that point of, I just hurt one of my coworkers?
Well, yeah, it's kind of, honestly, and I've never really thought this way, but I kind of had an outer body experience when I let go of him. It was like I could see myself, and I could see him, flying through the air, or not flying, falling. And it just seemed like it took forever. I mean, it was only a couple of seconds, but it seemed like, where I was from, it just seemed like it took forever for him to hit that table. And then it seemed forever for him to move, Once I saw him moving, I was like, okay, he's okay. Or not okay. I didn't think he was okay, but, he was moving. And in our world, sometimes, especially then, moving was a good thing.
And I think the biggest thing that nobody talks about was Terry Funk is looking at Mick Foley going, do not go back in the ring. And if Terry Funk tells you that, I feel like you should probably listen.
Yeah.
And he still went back in.
Yeah, he did. Actually, he didn't. Actually, he climbed up.
Oh, yeah, he climbed back up. Yeah.
He climbed back up, and that was really his big demise, was going back up the second time. And that cage, I don't know what in my head told me to get off of that panel, but we were both standing on the same panel that broke. And at the last second, I get off and I get on the metal support beams. I choke slammed him. He never stopped. The second bump, most people don't get this. The second bump was far worse than the first one. The one through the cage was worse than the one when I threw him off the top.
And why do you say that?
Because we figured that it would take a few shots to get the cage to break loose a little bit. Was not expecting it to give way. So when his back hit, it just never stopped. So he wasn't prepared to protect himself, and he was, another a little bit more rotation, and that turns out to be a really bad story.
So were y'all planning on you eventually choke slamming him and him going through the fencing at some point, or was there a different plan here for that match to get?
The plan was to break my goal was to break part of the cage loose, break part of that panel loose, and then slide into the ring, because I had a broke ankle, right? So I wasn't really thrilled about having to jump down on it. So we figured I could get the panel broke if I hit it in the right spot enough times, and then then we could get back in the ring that way. But that's not the way it worked.
Mick went the quick way to the ring. Oh yeah, so that was a big one that people were commenting about, was that match, and it seems like that match has really gone down in history as I don't know if it's one of the greatest matches, but it's definitely one of the most memorable matches ever. Zach, what was your earliest memory of The Undertaker?
Jesus. Gotta be just early on, like the earlier casket, like the casket match with Yokozuna is one of my earlier memories of watching The Undertaker.
So is that the one where Chuck Norris came down and give me a hand?
I just remember the big ass casket.
So there was two. There was one where I went in, and then my spirit and my soul ascended out of the arena. So we did that one, and then we came back and did another one where I think it was at a Survivor Series, if I'm not mistaken, where I had a little help from Chuck Norris, came down there, threw some kicks and knocked a few people down for me and let me get that win.
I'm going to have to go back and watch that one again.
We just sent Chuck some apparel, him and his family, and I think his son's in the military.
So, is he?
Okay. Yeah. Chuck's awesome, man. He's like 70-something years old. He looks great. It must be all that water he's got on his property that he's making right now. It's C-Force water. So
I also used to have a cardboard cutout of The Undertaker And when I left for the Army and stuff, it stayed at my parents' house and just stayed up in the room. And my nephew, when he was like 2 or 3, like went to go back into that room and all the lights were off. And he opened the door and just enough light hit that thing, scared the piss out of us.
We have so up in the gym. That's where Michelle and I keep kind of all of our memorabilia and our stuff from wrestling, and both our cutouts are up there. And every once in a while, like I'll go up late at night, like I'm gonna get in the sauna or whatnot, and I forget, and I flip the light on, and I about hit myself in the face.
Yeah, every time your picture comes across my Instagram or something, I do the same thing. It's pretty scary looking.
Yeah. Make sure it's just over the Instagram, right? Oh, speak of the devil.
That's messed up. That's your child.
Not that devil.
The greatest champion to ever walk into an arena.
Put your mask on.
Where is it? Hi.
Hey, Michelle, how are you?
Good. How are y'all?
Better. Yeah. I'm
You've
having
had
to
better
help
guests?
back. Kind of
You've
sucks.
had better guests before.
Yeah. Well, we did have Chad Prather. I mean,
I get it.
They put
Yeah.
Chad on before me.
yeah.
Yeah.
We also had Diamond Dallas Page on. I mean,
All right.
Hey, I got sugar.
yeah. I mean, his yoga is amazing. So
This is true.
I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
hey, it's helped a lot of people. It might be able to help you too.
Hey, look at me, Michelle. Have you looked at
You're
this?
slim and trim. I know.
Down almost 40 pounds.
Kaya said you look like Sami Zayn. That's a true story. She just said that in the kitchen.
We just had dinner. Actually, if I could use one of your arms, I got something stuck in there. Hey, it's Rey Mysterio.
Oh, come on. Come on. So now that we have a real champion in the room, Michelle,
Yes.
how does it feel to be the best wrestler the second best wrestler behind your daughter
Right.
in the Callaway household?
Oh, I mean, we're used to it. It's nothing, nothing new around here. Yeah. Boo, daddy.
I get no love, man.
So,
No love.
Michelle, I'm not going to waste all my questions on you because we're going to have you on hopefully soon. And I do have one question for you though.
Yes.
It's a serious one. How tough is it being married to a professional wrestler? I know that you are a professional wrestler, but how difficult is that as a wife, seeing your husband go into the ring and put his body through what he has to put it through?
Oh, in that aspect, because being his wife, there's a whole other aspect to that. But that's tough. It's I've had good friends come watch matches. It's always different when somebody you love is in there. You can watch a million matches. You can do a million matches yourself. You can do some of the same moves. But when you see your loved one in there getting not necessarily tossed around,
No,
you don't get too tossed around.
He's talking about me.
I know.
He's talking about me.
I know.
Okay.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard, especially when you know the business and sometimes he might really be hurt, but the stubbornness. He's going to continue for another hour wrestling, whether he's caught on fire or has a broken nose or whatever the case may be. So it's rough. It's hard.
And the last question for you, Michelle, is how does it feel to know that you are better at shooting the cannon from X Products than Mark is?
Oh, I mean, just ask him who won the last game of horse last night. It's not really, he blames double vision. When he gets beat bowling, he blames a torn bicep. When he gets beat playing basketball, it's his wrist. There's always an excuse. So we've just kind of gotten used to it.
It's always good to have a laundry list of ailments to cover all that
Right?
stuff.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
I have the element for whatever we're doing. Whatever
Exactly.
sport we're playing, I've got the element to
Mm-hmm.
cover my bases.
Yep. All right, we're going to sauna.
All
Bye,
right.
guys.
Love you, Michelle. Thanks for jumping on.
Come on, stop. Put your water.
Is that Rey Mysterio back there?
That was Rey Mysterio.
About the same size.
Yeah. Didn't Rey Mysterio break your orbital bone or whatever that is?
Yeah. So, I feel bad because he genuinely felt horrible. I had taken some time off and had some work done on my hip, so I had been off for a while, and it was my first night back to work, and we were wrestling each other, and man, he jumped off, and I think so. He jumped off. I don't even know what he calls the move. That's how punchy I'm getting, but his chest was going to land on my, or his butt was going to land on my chest and drive me down. Well, he was a little high, hit me in the head. So I landed, on the mat with all his weight on my face. So it broke my nose and blew out my other orbital bone. And so I sat up and I was like, wow, I can see my nose, because it was like it was over here. So I grabbed my nose and I set my nose back, and straightened it out as best I could. But when I got up, there was 3 of him, and he moves fast enough as it is. I didn't need 3 of him, so I figured I'd go for the one in the middle. And but it definitely not a malicious thing.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things that happen, and it's not ballet.
No, I figured that out just being around guys like yourself. So we got another fan question here from
All right.
Brad.ho. Maybe the best question going to be for the entire night is from Brad.
Okay.
Here we go.
What is your signature move if you were the Eggman?
Oh, my signature move if I was the Eggman, that would have to be the eggnog, probably. I don't know.
Yeah.
I
So
don't
you know the Eggman story? So Mark is coming from WCW. He's been told that, nobody's going to pay to watch him wrestle. And he leaves WCW. He's going to WWF. At the time, WWF, now WWE. He's met with Vince. He goes home. He's growing his hair out. He's pumping iron. He's getting tattoos. He's trying to be the dead man here. He got this really mean look. And they've got this big egg that is coming out to the ring constantly. And in Mark's mind is playing games, if I'm not mistaken, where you're thinking Vince is going to have you as this character, and it's going to be called Eggman.
Oh, it was 6 weeks of pure hell. Because like you said, I'd had a flat top, and I'd started growing my hair out and all this. Dead man hadn't even been a thought yet in my head. I hadn't heard anything, none of that. But so that egg's out there, and every week I'm thinking, oh man, because at that time, they did some really over the top stuff as far as characters, So I'm thinking, oh man, he's gonna make me shave my head and my eyebrows and everything, and I'm gonna be Mr. Clean, and I'm gonna be Eggman, and I was never so glad to get that call when he asked me if he was talking to the Undertaker. I didn't know what the Undertaker was at the time, but I knew it wasn't Eggman, and I was pretty damned happy.
So whatever happened with the egg?
Well, the egg hatched open and a chicken ran out or something, didn't it?
Well, yeah, it was the promotion leading into Survivor Series, which is traditionally right around Thanksgiving, and it was the gobbledygooker it was a turkey, and turkey jumped out, ran around the ring, and was never to be seen from again.
So you didn't get to become Eggman, but you ended up becoming the Undertaker, which it's had some legs. I think you've got something going there, and I think not a bad little gimmick. I don't think.
I did finally give up my second job.
Good. Were you a singer?
Huh? No, I was a pitch man for Nine Line. That's
that Tyler doesn't pay very well, so
yeah, it's costing me a fortune in shorts, just by FYI.
We got to get you a code or something to be able to get you a little bit of a discount. I don't want you going broke.
I'm begging you, man.
What else you got?
So there was another one right here that was really good. And somebody asked, do you have an admiration for Elvis Presley?
I love Elvis. Elvis is the true king.
Mark, how do we not know that? I am a huge Elvis fan. And
Oh, man.
I actually have a scarf that Elvis wore on stage in Vegas for a concert.
What?
Shut up.
Swear to God, man.
No.
I brought it in.
I don't believe that.
I brought it in, yeah.
I'm going to need that authenticated.
I'll take a picture when I get home. And I'll
How do
send
you
it to
know? Who told you that?
How do you know that it's not? The guy on eBay said it was real.
He said it was real,
Who
huh?
told you that he wore it on stage?
A little old lady that I bought it from at the flea market.
Mm.
No,
Yeah.
I've got a scarf that Elvis wore on stage. I'm a huge Elvis fan as well. I brought the scarf in.
I still want to know who told you it was worn on stage. Because I know you didn't see Elvis.
How do you know that I didn't see Elvis?
You were dead before he was dead before you were born.
Yeah. So how do you know it was?
How do you know Elvis is dead?
Like I can say like the Undertaker shot this firearm behind us because I saw him physically do it. How do you know that scarf was worn by Elvis?
Don't kill my dream of whether Elvis actually wore the scarf or not, because I believe that Elvis wore the scarf.
Has that
Worn
thought
by
never,
Elvis, the landscaper?
has the thought never crossed your mind? I wonder if Elvis really wore this or not.
Oh, absolutely, Mark.
All right. Okay.
It was a
Okay.
gift given to me from an old lady. It really was.
Uh-huh.
Her name was Celine Mahler. She's actually an author. If you look her up, and she did a book one time that Betty Ford actually absolutely loved. And don't go down a bad lane here, Zach. But Betty Ford loved this book. Celine Mahler got famous because of Betty Ford and loving her book and stuff. And she ended up marrying a guy.
A lot of people come famous from the Betty Ford Clinic.
She got married to a guy that ran a casino in Vegas, and Elvis played there. And she got one of his scarves, and she gave me that scarf.
My mom's brother's second cousin's dog's boyfriend's twice removed son got this scarf.
Hey, if that's legit, if that's a legit scarf that Elvis wore, then I would be very impressed.
How do you know it's not?
I don't know that. I'm just saying, if it actually is legit, I mean, that's worth some ching right there, man.
Yeah, I got some really cool stuff.
Are we hurting your feelings?
I've got a lot of really cool memorabilia.
As much crap as you talk, now your feelings are going to get hurt.
My feelings are not hurt. I believe y'all are both jealous that I have a scarf that Elvis has.
If it's real, hey, I'll be the first. If it's real,
Allegedly.
I'm very jealous.
There you go. There you go. You're jealous.
I just doubt that it's real.
Now I know how Ric Flair feels because the Undertaker's jealous of me. Just like you are of Ric Flair.
Hey, ain't nothing I can do. But, hey, to be the man, you got to beat the man.
Okay, so
Non-scarf related questions?
Bogus scarf.
don't be jealous of my. Hey, one person did ask, and I'm interested in this as well because I don't know if we've ever even talked about this part. What's your favorite gun?
Ooh, my favorite gun. I have a feeling my favorite gun I haven't even picked up yet. It's still out y'all's way.
You know what? They moved to Tennessee now. That's how long it's been.
Holy, they're in Tennessee now?
They're in Tennessee now.
Well, hell. Well, at least they're closer.
Your gun is traveling across the country.
They're slowly just going to make their way to Texas.
I've been steadily, it's almost a year, right? And I've been talking about
next
this
month.
gun. I've been talking about this gun nonstop for a year to people. And everybody
I'll
like,
tell
hey,
you
can
what
I
you haven't been doing for nonstop for a year, shooting that gun.
Yeah, well, yeah, I ain't shot it. Yeah. You kidding me? Hey, it's going to be nice, though, when I get it.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. You're going to have to wrestle until you die to pay for the ammunition.
Oh, $5 a round?
It's $7.50 a round.
$7.50? Is
Yeah,
it
with the
$7.50
market
a round
the
now?
way it is now, prices are up. It's $10 a round.
Yeah, it's probably $10 a round right now with the way ammunition is.
Well, it'll look good. It'll look good back here.
Yeah, it's a good trophy gun to have. Oh, man.
Kaya doesn't need to go to college.
No. She'll get an athletic scholarship.
Oh, yeah, easily.
Yeah, she'll be fine. Okay. I'm not finding any other good ones in here. I got a question for you, Mark, because when it comes to wrestling, it is what it is. I do need to do this. Okay.
You're supposed to save that for the end.
Save it for the end. Okay. That fan question for the end. My bad.
I have one. Ask yours.
You go. No, you go ahead. You go
I
ahead.
have one. 'Cause I asked the same one to Dallas the other day.
Yeah.
In your entire career, you had the different personas of the Undertaker and everything. And within those came multiple different storylines and everything. In your opinion, what is the most bizarre storyline that you participated in?
You put me on the spot. There's only 30 years of stuff I got to recollect. I don't know. I think probably trying to kidnap Stephanie and marry Stephanie and all that I did, that was out there when you start trying to, when I started putting, when I put Stephanie on my symbol and that stuff was.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're not gonna really go with the crucifying people thing.
I was trying to work around it. I did not want to offend Matt, but I was trying my best. So you go ahead. Yes, it resembled a crucifixion. Yes, it did.
Dallas's answer was the stalker storyline.
Yeah. Next question.
What do you got, Matt?
All right. Before we go to the next question, be sure to follow Undertaker, 9 Line Apparel, Zach Scout, Matthew Lyda. You're going to have an opportunity to win. Look at this, a 9 Line hat that Mark is going to mess up by autographing the bill of it, probably. So you can win an autographed Undertaker hat. Here's my question, Mark.
Debo, I have limits. Debo.
Whew, man.
Now,
I'm glad you're deaf and you can't hear what he's calling me.
Huh?
I'm not going to go down that road, Mark. I'm going to keep.
I'm just telling you, I got limits.
I'm
I
gonna
got
keep-
limits to how much I will take.
I'm gonna keep it cordial here, man. I'm just so, Mr. Calloway.
Yes, sir.
First time we met in person. Well, the first time how you got connected with us was somebody saw you on the internet wearing 9 Line, and I looked up on the internet what your real name was, and then we looked into the system and found out, okay, this guy's been buying a lot of T-shirts from us for quite a while, and Tyler had really no idea who you were. Still doesn't, because he doesn't know celebrities or anything. So he goes to our customer service rep, and he goes, hey, call this Undertaker guy. Well, the girl at the time, Rachel, she's like, I'm not calling him. She goes, I'll flip out if he picks up the phone. So she comes to me, and I'm like, all right, let's look up his name, phone number. I said, this is going to go to some office or something. Left you a voicemail. You called back, left me a voicemail. We go back and forth, finally pick up the phone. And I was like, yeah, I said, I've seen a guy on the internet that kind of goes by the different name as you. I said, are you the Undertaker? You go, well, I'm what's left of him. And we talked wrestling for about 60 seconds. And then I think for the next 20 minutes, we talked barbecue and guns. And I knew then, I was like, yeah, this is my guy right here. I was like, he likes two things that I love. And the first time we hung out, we ate at Kreitz Barbecue in Lockhart, Texas. Maybe the craziest lunch I've ever had, because there was, 6 or 7 dead animals on this table in front of us.
There was quite a bit of protein on the plates.
There wasn't plates. It was
butcher paper. Yeah, it was butcher paper
laid out in front of us.
Yeah.
I think we, talked very little, ate a lot. What is you've traveled the entire world when it comes to barbecue. Outside of Lockhart, Texas, where are you going?
Well, what are we talking? We talking brisket? We talking ribs?
I'm talking dealer's choice. You wake up and you go, I need barbecue in my belly today.
Well, I tell you what, if it's brisket and we're not out of Lockhart, it's hard to beat. I mean, Franklin's in Austin. That's where they line
That's
up
your
every.
place right there.
Yeah, I mean, by 11 o'clock they're gone. They're done. They sold out of brisket. They put out their pits, and they'll see you in the morning when the line starts again.
Yeah.
It's the
Didn't you say
craziest
that
thing.
y'all used to pay homeless people?
Yeah, we would pay homeless people to wait in line for us. We would buy their food and give them extra money because we had to work. So we would pay the homeless people to wait in line and get our barbecue for us. And we were employing people.
That was a good thing, I guess.
They're eating,
Yeah,
they got some money in their pocket. What they use that for? None of my damn business.
Pay it forward, brother. Just pay it forward.
There you go.
Now, I know with you being a Texas guy, it's all about the meats. I'm a Carolina guy, so it's all about the sauces. If you're over in North Carolina, South Carolina, I mean, what kind of sauce are you putting on your pulled pork?
I put that yellow sauce on there, man.
There you go. There you go. Good for you.
Mustard sauce, right? Isn't it mustard sauce? Is that
Yeah,
what it's called?
Mustard base.
It's a
Yeah.
mustard-based
Mustard-based.
sauce, yeah, with vinegar. Yeah.
Yep.
You have to because the meat's not as good. We rely on the meat to be the barbecue, and y'all got to have sauces to cover up that gamey, nasty stuff.
It's pulled pork.
It's pulled something.
Is that really outside of AJ Styles talking about Michelle? Were you really upset with him from the beginning because he's from the Southeast and we have better barbecue than Texas?
Yeah, actually, that was probably the most. That was probably my biggest issue. Is that you guys actually think that? It's like guys from Georgia used to think that they had a football program and we had to send our boys from Texas over there a couple of years ago. And never mind. That's just a whole nother.
Hey,
What was that? Was that the Sugar Bowl?
I'm not a Georgia Bulldogs fan. I'm not a Georgia Bulldogs.
I
I'm just
care
saying.
about Georgia
He's a
football.
Texas A&M. He'll tell you all about their male cheerleader things doing this, and they look like they're ice creams.
Just because we have traditions that go back before
Oh,
1998.
Mark, here we go. He's an A. You know how these Aggies are.
Yeah.
Third generation.
Yeah.
They just do this. Third generation Aggie. He'll tell you that.
Third generation Aggie.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh my
The
God.
cult runs deep.
Oh Lord. So, Mark, how did you find out? When was the first time you found out about Nine Line Apparel? How did you discover our company?
Let's see. I think I saw a shirt. I don't know if I saw it on IG or whether I saw it on somebody, but I think it was the I Stand for the National Anthem. And that's kind of, man, that's something I feel really strongly about. And so obviously, I think from that point on, I went on and, you guys were putting out some cool stuff. I love the Benghazi shirt. I got them all. I don't know.
I think you might have every shirt that we've done.
Do you own an homosexual shirt?
I do. I haven't worn it, but I do have it.
It's a collector's item.
That is a collector's item. That is,
I got a
Yeah,
picture.
those first 3 or 4
I'm wearing one.
Those first 3 or 4 purchases that I made, they were big packages. Yeah, they were.
Yeah. Oh, I know. When we looked
Yeah.
into your history, we were like, all right, this man's closet must be full of Nine Line. I was like, holy God. And but with that part, we definitely appreciate. And you mentioned the Benghazi shirt, and I'll tell this story because I tell this story about you all the time. By the way, and people ask me, they'll go, we get to work with a lot of really cool people, a lot of really cool celebrities and big names, and the one that everybody really does ask about it is the Undertaker. What's he like? And I think it's because for so long you didn't allow people into your personal life,
right,
and you didn't allow the cameras to be there. And with the Benghazi shirt that you mentioned, when we were in Vegas at SHOT Show, there was 2 times where you looked at me after I've taken 5 million pictures of people with you. You said, hey, get my picture. And both of them was Mark Geist and John Tyke
Big,
from
yeah.
Benghazi, and we were at the cigar lounge and having Bible study, and and we're with an eclectic group of people that night sitting around smoking.
To say the least.
Oh, it's crazy. And at the end of the night, you stood up and you said, I cannot believe I just got to hang out with Tig. Man, this was awesome. And I mean, you were like a kid in a candy store. You're like, this was amazing. I can't believe I just got to sit here right across from him and talk to him. And I'm just looking at you thinking, he's walking away going, I just had a cigar and drinks with the Undertaker.
Yeah.
But you were so happy about being around him. Where does your love for the military and the first responders come from?
Man, so obviously my father was in the Navy. My oldest brother was Coast Guard, and I have another brother that's in the Air Force, and then another brother that was a police officer. And probably if I hadn't have gotten an athletic scholarship to go to college, then I would have probably joined the Marine Corps myself.
Really?
Yeah. It just worked out that I got a scholarship and went to school. It's just, with me, that's where it all starts, man. When somebody goes and volunteers, put their life on the line for the betterment of our country, of our way of life, and that's just a different kind of person to me, a different individual. And then, so it's just another. I don't take it for granted, When I tell somebody, thank you for your service, it's just not something that you say because you're supposed to.
Yeah.
I genuinely mean it, and I know because of the sacrifice of so many that I get to live and do the things in life that I want to do. And with those guys, with Oz and Tig, man, just that, that whole thing was just screwed up. And obviously those guys, they served their country, and then they were using their skills, to take care of some, ambassadors and doing all this stuff, and then to be left hung out to dry like that. And then to fight the way they had to fight, man, they're heroes, man.
Yeah.
They really are. And it was so funny because there was a million questions that I wanted to ask them, because you watch 13 Hours, and I remember, I think it was at the last 9-line event there in May, somebody else asking how was it? Was it kind of like the movie? And Tig, being Tig, he was like, yeah, pretty much, without the cars flipping, it was like, it was so low key, and to me, but like, I'm hanging on every word. Like, I want to hear, about, how this happened. And I want to hear about, how Oz's arm, got jacked. I just like, because that stuff matters to me,
Yeah.
and it matters. That's why I wear you guys' stuff, and I can't tell you how many times people come up to me and just say, hey, thanks for, supporting, and they'll always point to the flag and so like I said, and some of the most rewarding things that I got to do were a couple of my trips to Iraq with WWE. Obviously it's nothing compared, to what you guys did over there, but it was pretty cool being able to hit a couple of fobs that, when we landed, they were like 12. They were, I think this one particular fob, they went out and found IEDs. Right, it was only like 12 people on this base, and somehow or another they got screwed up so that we had all these bases that we hit during the day, and they had the one with the fewest amount of people. We had like 2.5 hours with, right? So we got to spend all this time with these guys, And then to hear them say, hey, we don't even get our mail out here. I think we were like 2 miles from the Iranian border, right? And they're like, we didn't think you guys were coming out here. We heard you were coming, but we didn't think y'all were going to actually come. And I'll never forget, you know, they're kind of behind the berms there and the sandbags and everything. And you could see it on their faces. They were like, you know, as our helicopters were landing, you could see it on their faces that they were like, holy, you know, when they could start to make out our faces, you know, they're like, holy shit, they came. They actually, you know. And so those kind of moments were, you know, I wouldn't trade those for anything.
And I know that you're a buddy of yours and the guy that lives, I think, right down the road from you, Jesse James. He came out while I was there in 2003, and my platoon commander does a lot of work for Jesse now. And he goes, hey, do you want to meet Jesse? We're at a SHOT Show. And I was like, I actually met him while we were overseas back in 2003. And we go up, and Jesse, of course, his booth was crazy. Everybody's there wanting pictures with him and everything. And he's just kind of on his own time. And when I met him, I was like, hey, we actually met. You signed my flag back in 2003. And at that moment, like, nobody else cared. And he was like, hey, let's just sit down and talk. And we ended up interviewing him back, you know, a couple of years ago, and just, it was absolutely amazing. But I can tell you firsthand that being able to have you guys come out there, I never got to see any WWE guys, but having, you know, Jesse James, and I think John Stamos came out, and Kid Rock came and performed, and
in 2003?
Yeah, it was 2003. It was the first USO show ever in Baghdad, and or in Iraq.
Yeah.
And it was in Saddam's airport. In the middle of the show, the 101st had to leave to go do something different. And it was crazy. And it put a smile on our face for, you know, 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
I got a drink of Coca-Cola. I hadn't had one of those in a while.
Who the hell says Coca-Cola?
I like Coca-Cola.
Is it a Coke?
That's
It's a Coke.
That's Coca-Cola. Y'all are Yankees. Y'all are from Texas.
Everything's a Coke.
But having guys like you come out, it means a lot to us. I mean, it really does, to take the time out of the day to do that. It's absolutely amazing. So hold on. Your wife is saying something. You just got called out on all you knows. What is that? Are you saying you know?
So normally, if I'm Undertaker and I'm doing a promo, I can talk and talk and talk and talk. When I talk as Mark Calloway and I get fired up and I start talking about something else, I will you to death. Like when I went to Iraq, you know, and then we stopped there, you know, and then by that time this other guy came in, you know, and then so I picked it up myself, but I tend to say that quite a bit.
Well, we're not going to hang on to you for too much longer, but I do want to ask you about the documentary that's coming out. It premiered, I think, after WrestleMania, a little teaser or whatever for about 10 minutes. Right. I watched it, and I mean, I watched it night before last. I can't wait, to be honest with you, because getting to know you over the last couple of years, I've gotten to know Mark Calloway, and that's kind of how that's how I look at you. You're Mark Calloway. You're the guy that, you know, drink, you know, eats barbecue and shoots guns, and that's who I know. So seeing this behind the scenes thing that nobody else has really got to see, not the public. How is that? Because you've gone for so long staying private. What was it like, those cameras coming into your life and the world being introduced to Mark Calloway after 30 years?
Yeah, it was really strange, and it took me. It actually took me a while to really let my guard down completely. It was so surreal because it was something that I had never obviously never anyone ever got to see that side of me, and But I think it's the stuff people are going to see. They're really not going to believe that we let them in that much into our lives, and it chronicles so much of the last few years of me trying to get ready for WrestleManias and matches in general. I've only seen little bits and pieces of it, but it'll probably be about 4 or 5 weeks in a row episodes. That's how long that it is. This is how long we've had these cameras following us, and you're going to get a lot of insight into not just the character, but the human beings that are me, myself, and Michelle, and the things that we have to go through and get ready. The things that I have to go through to get ready for Mania or big matches, and it's. I think I'm pretty excited about it. I can't wait for it to come out, and I think people are going to really be excited once they get their hands on this stuff.
I'm definitely excited about it. I think it's going to be really, really cool. All right, so got one last fan question here. I'm going to go ahead and do this. Fan question here for you, Mark. You can tell this is really legit.
Here we go.
Recently saw you in a video with a Twitch streamer that goes by Dr. Disrespect. Any chance we see you make it into the streaming platform?
Yeah, negative, Ghost Rider. Look, I could barely get on here tonight.
That's why I text you and Michelle.
Yeah, that was that was a veteran move right there.
Yeah, I know you.
I'll be the first to admit I am a caveman when it comes to the whole streaming and all that. I just leave that alone.
Well, Mark, you'll be happy to know that tonight, Nine Line Apparel has teamed up with the Military Veteran Gaming League charity. And they're streaming this right now on Twitch. I know you're very familiar with Twitch. Want to give them a shout out for supporting our mission. And if you want to catch some more action after this, they're going live pretty much right now. So, Mark, 2 more questions. 2 easy, quick questions. First one, have you seen Tiger King?
I have. I finished it not last night, but the night before.
Mark, I texted you the day I was watching it.
Second question.
Impeccable timing we have.
Right?
Right? Well, I didn't hear your question, Zach. What was it?
Did Carol Baskin kill her husband?
Yeah. She killed him.
I mean, you are an Undertaker. You should know this thing.
Yeah,
so.
she chopped him up, fed him to the tigers, I'm sure.
What was you went up to the one in Myrtle Beach. I mean, what was that experience like?
I tell you what, so obviously we have no idea that this documentary is about to come out, right?
You were there a week before the documentary came out.
Impeccable timing once again. We plugged the hell out of that place too. I mean, we have pictures.
Y'all did. You did a full video, you and Michelle in the pool with the tiger and the whole thing.
I must say though that Doc Annell's place, it was first class. I mean, it was really, it's not some cheap park where you see them in a bunch of, steel cages. I mean, they have really nice enclosures built, and they treated us really well. They, the staff, who knows what happens, once things are over. But they seemed, like I said, they seemed like they genuinely, cared and loved for these animals. And they treated us great. We had a great time while we were there. It was, I don't even think it was a week after we got back when you texted, "You've got to watch Tiger King."
It was that Saturday, and I was texting. I was like, Mark, the guy that you went to the place, he's on this. I said, I think I'm like halfway through the first episode, and I'm going, hold on. I paused it, pulled up Instagram. Amy confirms it, and I'm like, he's got to watch this. I keep playing it, and I'm like, this is insane. This is insane. And I told you, I was like, you're going to lose a day. You've got to commit a day to this thing because you're just going to binge watch. It's insane.
Yeah, it was, out of everything, I mean, he did seem to be the most, I don't know, the most normal, laid back.
Yeah, I watched the podcast with Theo Vaughn. Theo Vaughn interviewed him, and that guy, he said, man, he goes, a lot of stuff you saw on that Netflix, he said it's blown out of proportion. He's like,
and out of context. And
and he's like, I don't have, 8 girlfriends that are 20 years old. He goes,
that's disappointing.
Well, he even said, he goes, look at me. He goes, he said, trust me, I got 3 girlfriends. They're all in their 40s. It's like, he said, that's what I am. And he goes, but he said, yeah, they really kind of, took things out of context and played on certain things. So, yeah, he was a little bit different. So before the last question, just want to remind everybody, go give us a follow, Undertaker, 9 Line, Zach, and Matthew Lyden.
You sound like Graham Allen telling people
Mark,
to swipe up and share.
Well, Mark is he's going to potentially sign this hat. Somebody's going to win the hat. Super, the fans, let me tell you something, it's crazy right now. All the comments, these people will love to get this. So, Mark, on a serious note, last question.
Go ahead.
Are you done?
We'll see.
All right. Well, we'll take it. We'll take that for what it's worth.
Hey, I love you, man, but I can't give that up. I can't give that up tonight.
I know. I knew what the answer was before I asked the question. And,
watch the documentary, and you might have a better perspective.
Okay.
Shameless plug.
Man, on WWE Network.
Hey.
So,
Come
Mark,
on, man. Work with me a little bit.
Hey, man. I had to ask the question. If I didn't ask the question, that's what everybody's asking. But
honestly, hey, I was done before AJ went on TV and started talking smack about my wife. Then every time I think I'm out, they pull me right back in.
Famous quote. Well, Mark, once again, thank you for doing something you've never done before, coming on Instagram Live. Thank you for doing what you do and supporting the military, supporting the first responders. It's an absolute honor for 9 Line Apparel to constantly see you wearing our shirts and supporting our brand and believing in what we're doing. And it means absolutely the world to us. And at the end of the day, whether you ever step back in the ring again, we've had personal conversations. I think you've got such big things to come in your life. I think that you've just started. You've got a platform now that is going to be amazing. I'm happy and glad to see that people are getting introduced to Mark Calloway, because Mark Calloway is such a good guy, and I am so happy that the world's getting introduced to him.
Well, I appreciate that, man. And like I said, I've really enjoyed, being able to help in the little ways that I can. And you guys by far have the best fundraising events. It's not every day you get to shoot watermelons out of helicopters. And come on, man. You guys, that's Americana.
There'll be an announcement next week. I'll shoot you over some emails or a text message, and you might have that opportunity again. It might be later on in the year, though, once this whole coronavirus thing gets out of here. And it's going to be a much cooler temperatures, it looks like.
No problem with that.
Well, Mark, thank you so much, man. Thanks for coming on, and look forward to seeing what the next chapter is in store for you, because I know it's going to be something great.
Well, thank you. And you can rest assured that product placement will be involved in it.
Well, we appreciate that very much. Tyler really appreciates that. So does his children for their college fund. Go to 9lineapparel.com. So, Mark, thank you so much. Now, to get off of this, you hit that X button. Okay, hit the X button on the screen.
This one up here in the right corner.
There you go, buddy. There you go. Thanks, man. We appreciate it, buddy.
Thanks, guys. Good talking to you.
Do Mark.
See you guys.
All right, everybody watching, if you want, go over to the Twitch account. It started at 8 p.m. for Military Veteran Gaming League charity. Thank y'all for joining. Mark was great. If you guys comment below on who you want to see moving forward, and it's going to be at 9 p.m. for the Twitch. Also, be sure to follow us, Undertaker, 9 Line Apparel, Zach Scalf, Matthew Lida. Undertaker's going to autograph this 9 Line hat and send it to a lucky winner. We're going to pull one out of everybody that follows all 4. So, guys, thank y'all for jumping on tonight. Stay safe. Wash your hands. Use hand sanitizer. Get a mask. All the above. Listen to, what the doctors are saying. Thank you so much. It was a fun night. We had the dead man on tonight. That doesn't happen very often, guys. So, thank y'all. We appreciate it. Thanks for the support.
And boop.